Imagine a world where war isn't fought with guns or missiles, but with digital avatars, hidden behind screens, controlled by people who have never met in real life. A world where trust isn't built with handshakes, but with clicks and typed conversations in the dark. Now imagine that in this world, the FBI was there, not as an observer, but as an undercover player. And that's how a video game, designed for fun, became the perfect trap to catch real criminals. It was 2015. While most people were using the internet to chat with friends, binge-watch series, or lose hours on YouTube, a small, highly specialized group of FBI agents had a different plan. They were watching a market that barely anyone talked about in mainstream media: the trafficking of weapons and drugs through online platforms. But not in the dark corners of the deep web. No, they were inside online games' virtual arenas, private servers where real-world laws didn't seem to apply. At least that's what the criminals thought. It all started when an encrypted message appeared on obscure forums. A supposed arms dealer was offering AK-47s, Glock pistols, even military-grade explosives, all discreetly delivered anywhere in the world. But there was one catch: he only did business inside a private room in an online game. The game: Second Life. A virtual universe where anyone could create characters, build houses, start businesses, and, apparently, run illegal marketplaces. The FBI already knew about Second Life, but they had never imagined the game could become a meeting point for arms traffickers. That's where the plan began. An undercover agent created a character, just a regular-looking avatar. But behind that simple digital figure stood years of training, surveillance, and digital intelligence. The FBI knew that this dealer, known only as Viper 23, had already supplied weapons to extremist groups in at least 3 different countries. For weeks, the negotiations played out between animated avatars and bizarre virtual environments. As the conversations evolved, the FBI carefully mapped speech patterns, typing mistakes, connection time, small slips that gradually revealed where Viper 23 really was. Then, one night 2 a.m. server time, the first major clue appeared. During a negotiation for a shipment of Glock pistols, Viper 23's avatar casually mentioned having trouble with transportation because of a truck driver's strike. A small detail, maybe, but that strike was only happening in Hamburg, Germany. For the first time, the FBI had a probable location. But catching an online trafficker isn't like arresting someone on a street corner. They needed evidence. That's when the operation escalated. The undercover agent proposed a big deal: dozens of weapons for a fictional group in Eastern Europe. Viper 23, hungry for profit, agreed. The payment would be made in Bitcoin, and the delivery details would be arranged using coded language inside the game itself. Outside the game, the FBI had already alerted Interpol and German authorities. The hunt was officially on. Then came the twist. Agents discovered that Viper 23 wasn't just one person. The name was being used by 3 different individuals, working in shifts, sharing tasks, pretending to be a single identity. A small digital crime empire, hidden behind crude avatars in an online game. The game had become a trap. The delivery was scheduled to take place in an abandoned parking lot on the outskirts of Hamburg. The FBI, working with local forces, prepared a silent operation. When the physical contact showed up to collect the shipment, a black suitcase filled with dozens of disassembled pistols, the trap closed. The man was arrested in seconds, but he wasn't the mastermind. He was just the courier. Meanwhile, on the game's servers, the avatar of Viper 23 remained online. The digital chase intensified. IP addresses, server logs, cryptocurrency transactions bit by bit. The FBI dismantled the digital facade. They discovered that one of the operators was hiding in the Czech Republic, another in Ukraine, and the third inside the United States. The irony was brutal. One of the world's largest illegal arms dealers was operating from the FBI's own backyard. The FBI never released all the details of the operation to the public. But what is known is that at least 7 arrests were made across 3 different countries. The game was over. The weapons were seized. The digital wallets were frozen. But the most shocking part of this story wasn't the arrests themselves. It was the revelation that the digital underworld was no longer limited to hidden forums or obscure chats. It was right there in the same spaces where millions of people casually played games, built virtual lives, and bought digital outfits for their avatars. And the most unsettling detail came later. During the investigation, the FBI discovered that the case of Viper 23 was not unique. Other online games were being used for drug trafficking, money laundering, even terrorist planning. The regular players, they had no idea that between casual conversations in global chat rooms, real weapons were changing hands. While colorful lights flashed on screens and electronic music echoed through virtual spaces, in the real world, armed agents were preparing their next sting, not in dark city alleys, but on game servers. On your computer. The underworld is no longer hiding, it's logged in.